Thank you, Mr. Nassim. May I ask, first of all, are you able to hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Excellent. And how many minutes do I have? Just so that I set up the timer.
Yeah. I gave the speakers 7 minutes, 7 to 8 minutes, but I'll be flexible with that, but 7 to 8 minutes.
No problem. Thank you so much. So first of all, thank you so much for organizing this session. I think it's a very important discussion that we're having. And I would like to also thank Mr. Zakaria, Miss Ala, who's my friend. I'd like to consider her my friend, and also Mr. Jim. I do have more of a positive notes that I'd like to share, especially when it comes to Sheikh Jarrah's story. You introduced me as a Palestinian activist. I would rather use accidental activist, and I'm going to explain why.
Okay.
My father is from Tul Karim. He was ethnically cleansed when he was 7 years old in Al-Naqsa in 1967. He had to walk with his family to Jordan, Irbid in Jordan. And my maternal grandparents were also ethnically cleansed from Jerusalem in 1948. And they had to walk to Al-Salt in Jordan. Why am I telling you this story? I'm telling you this story to, first of all, tell you about what is it like to be a Palestinian in the diaspora, some of the things that we face on a daily basis, and then I'm going to go into how we work on raising awareness through social media. And I want to comment, if that's okay, at the end about the point that Mr. Jim has mentioned about empowerment of Palestinian people. He mentioned the pillars, money and votes, and I want to add one more pillar to it, and that I think is impacting, positively impacting what's happening right now these days. So first off, the accidental part. I grew up listening to the story of how my father and my mother's family were ethnically cleansed in Palestine. And throughout the years, while I was growing up, the only feelings that I had were, well, sadness, fear, helplessness, strong feeling of helplessness. Every time they bombed Gaza, all I was able to do was cry and pray for our martyrs and pray for Palestinian people to have a better future. But what happened in Sheikh Jarrah was, honestly, it was, I see it as a miracle, because it awakened the Palestinian identity was awakened, especially amongst the youth in the diaspora. Special sense of pride has sprung out of that crime that the occupation is attempting on our people in Sheikh Jarrah. Suddenly, you would see people that were kind of ashamed to say that they were Palestinian, and I don't blame them because of the discrimination that we face on a daily basis the moment you say the word Palestinian, especially when you are living in the Western world. Suddenly, they were so proud of being Palestinian. Everybody wanted to chip in. Everybody wanted to talk about Palestine and to talk about the atrocities that the occupation, the colonial occupation, is committing upon our people. And I see that as the silver lining, because I see the difference with my own eyes in the various age groups, but in particular in the youth, of how much they are more proud, as I mentioned, and they are trying to do something, and they are trying to amplify the voices of our people on the ground. Now I want to move a bit to the point that Mr. Jim mentioned, because I believe there are 3 pillars that can stem from, empowerment comes from 3 main things, in my opinion: money, votes, but also knowledge. Knowledge is very important, and the occupation has been working for years and years on separating Palestinians. You see Palestinians in the diaspora, in Gaza, in Jerusalem, in the 48, and also trying to hide and conceal the truth about what's happening on the ground. So I think one of the most important things that we need to work on as Palestinians is to increase our knowledge and awareness about what's happening on the ground. And so I want to move to what can we do and how we can use social media. We saw that Sheikh Jarrah, everybody is, or rather, for me not to exaggerate, a lot of people are talking about Sheikh Jarrah now. And obviously what we have done collectively when it comes to social media contributed to that. But it's very important for us, all of us, to be always aware about what's happening on the ground, to have people that you speak with on a daily basis to tell you what exactly is happening, especially with, as I mentioned, the execution of the truth that happens on the social media and the press. And I think the more we know about what's happening on the ground and the more we build up knowledge, whether on history, on the main events that happened in Palestine, the more we are able to make an impact. What I always say, and I work a lot with groups of people, I'm not sure if everyone is aware of that platform, but on Clubhouse, we do a lot of rooms that in which we talk about Palestine, whether in Arabic or English, in both languages. And something that I always see is that, as I mentioned, people want to do things, a lot of things, but sometimes they lack the knowledge. So in my opinion, one of the most important things is to build up knowledge, to build up awareness, and then to focus on the other two pillars that Mr. Jim spoke about, and those are the money and the votes. It's very important for us to continue to use social media to amplify the voices of the people on the ground, to tag government officials if we are living in the Western world, for example, to hold them accountable for what's happening, and to continue to be united, and at least in that front of exposing the crimes of the occupation. I hope I didn't take much
No,
time.
that's perfect. That's fine. Thank you.